What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional, and we are going through the book of Exodus. We're in Exodus chapter 6, and we will be in verse 12. Exodus chapter 6, verse 12. We talked a little bit last episode about the mandate of God, that even when things are hurt, broken, struggle, doors closed, God still has a command for us to do. That doesn't stop us from doing what God has called us to, or it doesn't give us an excuse to not do what God has called us to do. He recognizes the pain and the struggle. That's why he keeps continuing to show his faithfulness, show his power and might, and reveal the plan that he has for us, so that we can gather strength, be bolstered in the thing that God is wanting for us to accomplish for his glory. We see that here in this dialogue between Yahweh and Moses, that God still has something for us to do. And the question is, what is it for you to do? Anyway, we're in chapter 6, verse 12. If you haven't read it, stop the tape, check it out, see what that's to do. Come back, and we're going to answer some questions. If you've already done that, then we're going to jump into it. And we see the what's happening is the first question. That's the first question we always ask. What's happening in Scripture? And we see that Moses responds in kind. Just as it's funny to think, it's like Moses is discouraged by the fact that when he speaks to them about the situation and how it's going to play out, that the people of Israel don't listen. And now Moses goes back to Yahweh and he does the same thing. When Yahweh tells him to do something, telling him that this is going to happen, and he don't believe or he's not listening, he's turning it out because of the same hurt, pain, struggle, suffering that he is going through vicariously through the people of Israel. He don't believe Yahweh, right? He doesn't understand. He says, "Man, don't." He's like, "How are Pharaoh going to listen to me if my own people ain't going to listen to me, God?" He's like, "How is Pharaoh going to listen to me if my own people?" He's like, also, and then he stacks another one. He's like, "I told you before, man, I don't speak well." Except he says it a different way this time. He says, "I am uncircumcised of lips, uncircumcised of tongue, man, uncircumcised of speech." And what this means is that he is not fit for the role that God has placed him in. You see, because what it means to say uncircumcised is that he is untamed, or what's that word? A barbarian. That he is not fit or able to be in the position that God has placed him in. Now he's just going even further in the way in which he describes himself for the role that God has placed him in. Yeah, Moses is sad. He's broken. He's hurt. He's tripping, man. And I mean, why wouldn't he be? Because what God has told him initially to do has caused greater suffering on the people who he wants to save, on the people that he desires to free, on the people that he loves so dearly. What he does doesn't seem to be working out the way God is saying. What he does seems to only cause more pain. More pain. See, I want to go into a way we can apply these truths to our lives right now, because I know that sometimes when we want to speak truth in love to people, that when we go about it, it seems to only cause pain. I'm with you on this, man. It's hard to tell the truth to people about their sin, about their brokenness, and about the necessity for Jesus in their life, because initially it can cause pain. It can cause hurt. It can cause strife in our relationship, but it must be done. Sometimes we don't feel like we're equipped or fit to be able to do these things because of our past, or maybe our understanding of the scriptures, or maybe whatever it is, man. If there's something that is stopping you, which there always will be, man, we've got to break free of that and trust in Yahweh. See, they don't listen because they don't trust the words that you speak on the behalf of Yahweh. And when Yahweh speaks to us, how do you think it makes him feel? If we feel a certain way when people don't listen to us or trust us or hear our words of truth, when God speaks these words of truth, what are we going to do with them? What are we going to do with them? So what does this say about God? I think this says about God his truthfulness, obviously, because what he speaks is truth. What he speaks is reality. That means whatever he says, it is going to take place. It will pass because that is who he is. Placed upon his name, like earlier we talked about, he says, with an uplifted hand, I am Yahweh. These things will occur. We gotta believe he is trustworthy. But well, I don't think it's more importantly because I think understanding the character of God is probably the most important thing that we need to do. But for us today, in this moment, I think that it is trying to understand what is this saying about man. And I think what it says is that we should trust in the words of God and not lean on our own understanding, as the Proverbs say, because that's what Moses is doing right now. He's leaning on his own emotions, his own psyche, his own spiritual being, because what he thinks from a broken spirit is that the thing that God said he would do is not going to happen. We can't allow that to happen to us. It will happen, of course, because it's the nature of us as sinful man to hear the enemy as he speaks and to listen to the enemy rather than to the one who desires to save us. It's easier that way sometimes when we look and we see the turmoil and the treachery of the world around us. But we can't do it. We can't fall to the lies. Just as Pharaoh says, oh, they believe these lies. They believe these lies when really he's the liar. He's the liar. When Satan comes and tells us, did God really say that? Except in our unique situation, we must turn to him and say, no, he did not. God said this, the truth of the truth. Turn that away. Move that aside and trust in the words of Yahweh. That's what it means. That's what the scripture is saying. But it also says, and we can still go to God. Because Moses, man, after he's already said these things before, and God kind of got mad at one point when he said these things, but then reassured him. And so at this point here, Moses is still going to God. And I think that's what it says to us, is that we can still go to God with our heart of brokenness, with our heart of sadness, with our spirit that has just been decimated by the situation that we're in. We can still go to God. We can still run to the one who loves us. So how do we apply these truths to our lives? How do we live out what we have just read today? Go to God with your brokenness. That's the first thing I want to say, is go to God with your brokenness. Because Moses here already knows the situation and sees it at hand, but go to God with your brokenness. You do the same as Moses is doing. Go to God with your brokenness. I would say, trust and believe in the words of Yahweh as he speaks them to you, but you can't help the way that you feel. You can't help the broken heart that you have. And so go to him with it, that he might heal it, that he might lift it up, that he might position it, and that he might bolster it and strengthen it by the exact same thing that God speaks now with his truth. Go to him. Trust in him. Go to him. Walk in him. Whatever situation you're in right now, whatever it is that is causing you a lack of trust in him, man, take a step. Remember his character. Remember who he is by the stories that we're reading here, by the accomplishments he has done in your own life, and then trust that what he says he will do, even in this position that you're in now. And if you're not in a position of suffering or anything, man, be overjoyed and soak in and take in this goodness that God is bestowing upon you, so that you remember it in times where you may go through it. Just feel the love and the encouragement that God has for you at this moment. I don't want to forget about you guys who are dancing like David right now because of the greatness that God is doing in your life. It's just that at this moment we see such sadness and brokenness in the story where we're at. But if you are in the dancing season, man, enjoy it. Man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Hey, I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.